live. We are live.
Yay.
We are live. We are live. Welcome to this broadcast. I am Abiola Abrams, and I have with me Tia Johnson. And this is really exciting. I'm going to tell you about this broadcast, and then we will each introduce ourselves because, tonight it's not just my audience, but there's Tia's audience who is here, and we are all coming together as empowered people who are wanting to rise into our shine. And so what we are doing tonight, this workshop, is where we are revealing ways that you may be blocking your blessings in terms of business. And where this workshop comes from is that Tia and I are going to be leading a workshop together on November the 2nd, 2014, at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia at the UPenn bookstore around, it's a Sacred Business Success Bootcamp for people who have heart-centered businesses. And we led a workshop on fear together a few weeks ago, and there were some reoccurring issues that we had come up, and so we're going to address those, but I'm just going to let Tia say hi and tell you about herself, and then I'll tell you about myself, and let's just jump in because we don't have that long, and I want to get you as many gems as we can.
All right, so again, thank you, Abiola, for working with me to have this wonderful Google Hangout. I'm Tia Johnson, the creator of the Violet Sanctuary Spa, which is your online holistic spa. Had to excuse my voice, I'm overcoming the cold. I work with people to coach and promote their inner and outer spiritual healing. And what I do is I just get down to the nitty-gritty of how you can be on a great spiritual path to help you along your life with your relationships and so forth.
Yes, 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 yes. And for those of you who don't know, I am an empowerment coach. I help women work mostly. We both actually mostly work with, well, only work with women, but with this business workshop at UPenn, we're going to be open to a larger audience. That we had a really interesting experience where men showed up, and there was testosterone as a part of our last workshop, and it went well, and I think that, that these are tools that we're offering that everyone can benefit from. I am a coach, an author, a columnist based in New York City, and I help inspired creative people, inspired professional people, people who have a calling, women who have a calling, be able to step into that calling and show up for themselves in the ways that they need to. Now, this is the first of 2 free online workshops that Tia and I are going to be offering before that University of Pennsylvania workshop, but we want you to come to that as well, because that's when we can really get our hands on you and really help to to give you a foundation to remake your business, to remake yourself, and really have a great launch for 2015 going ahead. And we're gonna, maybe we can give them a special deal, Tia, if they are able to, to sign up tonight. But tonight is all about the ways that we block our business blessings. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I know that, in our next online workshop, we're going to be talking about what we wish we had known when we started our businesses. What would you like to say just about, this workshop in general, and then let's jump into, the points that we both came up with, points that we've seen in terms of the people that we work with, ways that people are blocking their business blessings.
Yeah, this is a very powerful topic, and I know as an entrepreneur, we tend to go over hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, and sometimes those hurdles are our own hurdles, not just from the business world. So with this hangout topic, I really feel like this is a great way to address some things that we may not realize are something that we put in our own way, and the topics that we talk about are really just going to be great ways on how we can combat some of those hurdles, self-hurdles.
Yes. Yeah, I love the way that you put it, self-hurdles. I'm actually going to write that down because that really is what it is. And one of the crazy things was, well, not so, you and I know it's not so crazy, but one of the interesting things was a few weeks ago when we had that workshop on fear in New York City, that every single person, they voiced in different ways what their fears were around living their dreams, but it really was the same fear
Mhm.
over and over again. That when we said to people, what is your deepest fear, that people said that I won't get to live my dreams, that I won't get to live the life that I came to live. And there's this really wonderful book that this woman who's a hospice nurse wrote around, what people say the regrets of the dying, people
Mhm.
who are in hospice care and dying, and what their greatest regrets are. And I think she listed maybe about 10 of them, and the main one that people had was that they wished that they hadn't listened to other people or let popular opinion hold them back, and they wish that they really did what they came to do. And we don't want to do that. We do not want to die with our music still in us, and so that's why we are here about making it happen. So, all right, so I know we both came up with a list of ways that we block our business blessings. What is number one? Tia is the queen of the PowerPoint, by the way. She has something special for you.
Yes, I love PowerPoint. So, number one, and this is very important on all levels, money resources. We deal with money all the time, and some questions that pop up or people ask me is this course worth it because it's worth X amount of money? People get really, really nervous about spending money. So a few ways you can combat that is to work with people who already been there, done that, in a sense. They can really guide you, give you information to help you ascertain if that course is right for you and if the money invested is right. So a corporation like SCORE is retired entrepreneurs who help people manage their money, and also you can get grants. So that's one way that you can just relax with the money issue and invest wisely.
I'm so glad that you gave that tip, because money is a way that people, it's an excuse. I'm not even though it's a real concrete issue, it's an excuse that we use to hold us back. If only I had, then I could do this. If I had X, then I could do Y. And then we can justify for ourselves why we're not moving forward. But every day we hear stories about people who don't have anything figuring out a way out of no way. And that's,
Yes.
again, not to take away from the fact that, you may want something and not have a means to get it. But where there is a will, there really, really is a way. That, my parents came from a different country, so with nothing. So there's a way we can figure out how to do what we want to do. All right, so that is number one. And T is going to be, tomorrow we're going to share with you the sign-up link for the big workshop, and also a PowerPoint, a workshop takeaway, like a little workbook, handbook of this call. So, all right, so what is number two, Tia? My computer's doing something weird. I'll fix that while you tell us.
So number two I have here are the negative selfies I like to talk about. So, we all know about the selfies. We take our pictures and we make sure it's the best picture, with our best smile, our best side. But there are the negative selfies, the self-doubts, the I'm not ready because I'm too old, too young, etc. The way to combat that, I say, is to create your own motto. My motto is live, love, dance, be happy, laugh. It's just a couple of words to help you combat that self-doubt. And the other negative selfie is being overly confident, where you feel like you can do everything. You can't. You can still be an amazing business entrepreneur, but just know that you need a dream team.
Yes, okay. I think that that's a really good one, because it's about being who we are. That, for example, in this, business workshop, just now my computer was doing something weird, and I didn't try to, mask it and, give a look of perfection, because I believe that we're all perfect in our imperfections. And that's the difference between another business workshop you might take and this spiritual business workshop that we're doing, is that I really believe that when you come from who you really are, that no one can compete with you. That there is nobody in your lane to be the best person you can be. If Tia, if Tia was trying to be Iyanla and I was trying to be Oprah or whoever, then we might have problems. But Tia is trying to be Tia, and so there is no one who is a better Tia Johnson than this woman. There is nobody who's a better Abiola than this woman. you know, and you are the best you that you can be. That's a
Mhm.
wonderful one. Okay, so all right, so moving ahead, and the cool thing is, I really hope that people can make it to Philly, or if they can't, at least to the second leg of this workshop that we're going to be doing next week, the online version, because we want to also be able to give solutions to these problems, that we have
Yeah.
very clear ways for us to get out of our way. Like you said, people not having the resources. We have very clear ways to help to be able to guide you to do that. So take it away, Tia Johnson.
All right, next, lack of information, research, and education.
Okay, so a lack of information, research, and education. This is the same almost as a lack of money. It's an excuse that we make up. I will give you an interesting conversation that I had with someone who I ran into. He came up to me, had seen me on the Discovery Channel talking about empowerment. And so, he came up and he told me that he had this dream of being a radio DJ. And I was like, okay, I could see you doing that. What have you done to be able to make it happen? And he was like, well, nothing. You need to know people. You need to know somebody. And I said, well, get to know people. What are you doing? Are you going to
Yes.
networking events? He said, well, you need money to go to networking events. I don't have any money. I said, well, if you research them, I'm sure there are some free things that you could go to, some places that these people socialize. If you go to meetup.com, you can find free meetups. I said, well, how about if you interned or worked somewhere for free? Michael Baisden did that, and now he's a national broadcaster. If you work somewhere for free for an hour a week or something like that. He was like, I don't want to work for free. I don't want to do that. I said, well, how about if you, because we're in New York City, the hardest market in the world. I said, how about if you got out of New York and worked somewhere else? Like Wendy Williams did. He said, I can't stand Wendy. I said, you don't have to like Wendy to be able to look at the business model and say, if I do that. I said, what about if you went to Philly? You wouldn't even have to move. You could just Philly's 2 hours away from New York. He's like, I don't want to be in Philly. I want to be in New York. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. It won't work. Because whether you can do it or you can't is absolutely right. And there are people who argue in favor of their limitations. With Google, there is nothing that you cannot figure out a way to do it. Nothing. Anything that you type in, how do I, blah, 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 you will find the resources. You will find, whether it is a book, whether it's a website, whether it's a coach, whether it's a seminar, further your education. That's why I applaud the people who are watching this, because, this is all a part of your business education. Taking a workshop on how to unblock your blessings, that there is always additional ways that you can get more information to be able to do what you came to do.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Those are great, great, great points, and oh, so true. This really resonates with me.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
man, I can't wait for them to get the package tomorrow with more information.
Yes.
Our next one is low expectations.
All right. So, people fear that, that there's the idea of like, aiming too high, but most of us don't aim nearly high enough. We don't dream nearly big enough. We aim low and then we meet those low expectations. And you really do get what you put out. You really do get what you expect to get. If you surround yourself with low-level thinking people and share your dreams and big ideas with them and wonder, well, why can't they, understand what my dreams are? Why can't they believe in me? And they don't even believe in themselves, then that is aiming too low. That there's really, I feel like it's almost a curse of mediocrity. That every one of us, every single person, I have yet to meet a person that I couldn't look at and see, see their majesty within them. But it doesn't matter what I see. It matters what you see within yourself. And so rather than thinking, okay, well, I'm not worthy, comes back to self-worth, and we're going to talk about that a lot in the workshop, how your business reflects your self-worth. I'm not worthy to be able to, have the clients I want, have the business I want, charge what I want, whatever it is. And these are ongoing challenges that all of us face. Tia deals with, I deal with, whatever. You need to figure out who your ideal clientele for your business is, and then who is it that you would need to be in order to service that clientele, and then approach it from that way, from a place of service and hired expectations.
Mm, yes, very well said. Very well said. Our next business block blessing, boundaries. So I like this topic a lot because this is something that I had to learn intensely. Boundaries. Um, where do you work? And then who are you talking to about your business? So when I say where do you work, are you in your kitchen, your dining room table, a library, your job, maybe your day job, you're going, you're in that in-between phase. So you have to be careful of where you do your business work because you don't want certain things to spill over into other areas and everything gets crowded and you're confused and irritated. So have these boundaries of where you work. I work at the dining room table or I work in my private office and that's that. No one touches my computer. And then when you talk about your business, especially in the beginning, you have to be so careful of who you tell your goals, your dreams, and aspirations to in the beginning because it's so easy for people to say something negative. That's not possible. You can't do it. So to combat these two, you can just, again, have a certain area where you work, and then you can confide in selective people who can provide you great advice.
I think that that was really good, Tia, and that there are, in terms of unblocking your business blessings, boundaries. Like, wow, we could do a whole workshop just on
Oh yeah.
that, on, just boundaries not only of your workspace, but like you said, boundaries of who you share your dreams with, boundaries in terms of the people that you work with and the parameters that you
Mhm.
put around you. This just also occurred to me when it comes to blocking your blessings. What boundaries do you have that you shouldn't have, that you need to
Yeah.
just let go of, because there are things that we put up to get in our own way to be able to hold off, the blessings. And so maybe, there are things that you need to let go of as well in order to be able to let those blessings flow.
Oh yes. Yes, very, very true. We
Yeah.
had to be more than willing to let go of a lot of things in our lives.
Yes, yes. I think that is a huge one. That's a huge one. Um, that being able to let go of what's not working, and whether it's reinventing yourself or reinventing your business, to move toward what is working is huge.
Yes, yes. And it does entail coming out of the comfort zone a lot of times. So these are also kind of reminders. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
The next one we have here is lack of coaching, mentorship, and along the lines of receiving that bad advice.
Yeah, see that, yeah, that goes right along with what we said. I feel like this one is pretty much similar to what we were talking about in terms of getting information, getting education, that all of these the best coaches in the world have coaches. The way that Oprah met Dr. Phil was when she was on trial with the Texas, cattle people, and she needed somebody to basically help her to have a strategy, a mental and emotional strategy moving forward. That's what a coach does. And
Hmm.
so, find a group, find a network, find some way in order to be supported. If not, if you don't have the money, then figure out a way to do group coaching. It's cheaper than one-on-one coaching, but you want to get more information. That Albert Einstein said that the same brain that created a problem can't solve it. You just can't. You can't solve the same issue that you have, on that same level without getting more information. And so, I wish we had time to go into it more here, but yeah, you need to figure out a way in order to be able to get more coaching and get more information. That, one of the things that someone else that I was having a conversation with, I was talking about, I'm hosting all these upcoming retreats, and they were like, well, I'm not a retreat kind of person. And like you said, it's like you got to step out of your comfort zone. You can't be
Hmm.
like, oh, well, people of my ethnicity, they don't get help, or they don't whatever, or they don't, or whatever it is, or people of my gender don't do this, or people who look like me don't do that. That if
Hmm.
you want something different, if you want, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Also true.
Yes.
Which leads us to our next point, comparing, and I actually have that written down. If you are going to compare yourself to someone, then you're just you just made a deal breaker for yourself, because what you put into certain situations is definitely what you're going to get out. So what you can do is take notes, just as you were saying, Abiola. Mentors have mentors. So you can definitely take notes of people who are wildly successful. You know, you can look up, you can have more than one mentor if you like for different areas in your life, but comparing yourself to other people, you might as well just take your dreams and put it in a dumpster, because you're setting yourself up. Please do not compare.
Mhm. I think that that's a good point, and that, maybe what people could do instead, because I've had people, and I'm sure they do it to you too, go to my website and just copy things word for word, which is like crazy. Like, again, like, you are not going to win at being Abiola, and you shouldn't want to. You're not going to win at being Tia. You're going to win at being you, your own divine magical self, whoever
Yeah.
that is. And so one of the things that you can do is maybe collaborate with, figure out what you have to offer your mentor instead. Like, Tia, one of the things that you did that I think is amazing is that Tia, for those of you who may be just tuning in, is a spiritual teacher and leader, and she reads angel cards and, does dream therapy and all of these things. And there's this wonderful, incredible woman named Doreen Virtue, who is the leader in the field on, angels and angel therapy and angel research. And Tia's, stories are in a few of her books. And so that's what you want to do. You want to, instead of, comparing yourself to someone in a negative way that may hold you back, either you can look at them and look at their blueprint, and they can be maybe a mentor to you of something that ways that you can take away and build on yourself. Like I was recommending to the young man who went to be the DJ with Wendy Williams. Or you could do like, Tia, and somehow figure out a way, on whatever level to be collaborative, with the person that you would be comparing yourself to and emulating. And of course, you're not going to come in, and it's again thinking, what do you have to offer them? What is the way that you have to be able to catch someone's eye, rather than, people tweet things at people and just say, hey, retweet this. Well, why? How does
Yes.
that benefit my audience or me? Why should I do, like, rather than it somehow being something that is helpful, or, again, goes back to service. Like, it's so powerful when you come from a place of service and, rather than a place of what's in it for me.
Exactly, exactly. Because there always will be that give and receive anyway. And just as Abiola put it so well, you can only be you, and you have something really great to offer. So put it on the table, hey, this is what I do. I can do this. We could work together. So that's a really great point.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
which leads to our next point, the lack of support belief. So, you are your first line of support. You are the one, you have to believe in yourself. And Abiola has said that earlier in this hangout session, believing in yourself, all that greatness. But when you go out there into the world, you may expect a lot of other people to believe in you, or you may not expect people to believe you. There's that duality there. So a way to help you with blocking the blessings of thinking, oh, everyone's going to support me, it's going to be great, and then it doesn't happen, and you have that drop feeling, or the reverse. You combat that by just starting to believe in yourself first, have a plan of action so that way you can continue to go on in your business and grow, and then make sure that you always make time to reflect on what you have already accomplished, so that way your support system is already there, so when more people help you, it's just like heaven. It's like, oh, this is great, I have a dream team, I have this going on. So those are some quick and easy ways to help you combat your support belief system.
I think that that's so important, Tia, and I think that it would really also help our viewers if, along with that, maybe share your story of the genesis of your business, because you have, you're what we're you're our audience, just like I'm our audience. You're a heart-centered entrepreneur that, you have a spirit-based business. And so a lot of people, I feel like, one step is that people even realizing what they have as a business. If you are an author and you wrote a book, your book is your business. You're an entrepreneur that, that a lot of creative people, they may think, oh, well, I'm a, like, you're an angel card reader or whatever it is, and they don't realize that what you're doing is a business. Can you talk a little bit about the genesis of your business and maybe what reaction was to people around you when you wanted to start it and all of that?
Or yeah, I started my business in 2010, and it was a direct result from the death of my grandparents. They died roughly a year and a half from each other. So when I started my business, all I wanted to do was just to help people who were grieving over loss. And so one day I decided to begin to try and coach people with this. It didn't quite work out that way. It seemed like people wanted to just keep that internal. So then I thought, okay, I'm also a dream coach. I'll have a session about dreams at a cafe. One person signed up, so I had to cancel it. It was a really blow because it was just like, oh man, this is some great material I have here. What can I do? So the turn of the tides really came around when I wrote my book. And I have to say, my book about goddesses and using that energy for our daily lives, I was scared. I didn't want to write it. I wanted to write about angels because, again, it was my comfort zone. So the breakout for my business really happened last year, which is 2013, 3 years later, when I wrote the book. So it's really about hanging in there. Expect the unexpected. When I started my business, when I help people, I really expected everyone to jump on board. Yeah, you know me. Hey, you know me. You know me. You could come out, spread a word. No, you have to do your due diligence. So don't let that. And I refer to football a lot. So don't let that sack, bother you. You can get back up. But yeah, so that's the real. Genesis. It just started from me wanting to just help people who were grieving from people who they truly loved, to me helping people understand what is the dream world, and then now with women in particular just owning their goddess right and energy and applying that throughout their lives.
That's beautiful. I think I would like you to still write a book maybe of the grief coaching and counseling that you were doing. I think that would really help a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I can definitely do that. That's actually a great idea and a nice way to come back to the source,
Yeah.
of the how I did my 2 year healing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, good. Well, we'll look forward to that. Okay, so next way that people block their blessings, blocking your business blessings.
hmm And this is the last one, and you touched a little bit on it, when people are in the wrong network or community.
Ah, okay. All right. So this is, yeah, we've been touching on this, throughout that one of the things that you need to do in terms of being a business owner, you probably will need to retribe yourself. And what that means is to find a new tribe, find the people, the like-minded people who, can help you that you all can inspire and encourage each other to go forward. That there are very well-meaning people in the world, and they may be the wrong person for you in terms of a friendship, a partnership, or whatever it is. Doesn't mean they're a bad person, but maybe they're the wrong person for your growth. And it's up to us to figure out a way to navigate it. I know that it can be incredibly frustrating, especially as a visionary. I assume if you're watching this and that you have a heart-centered business, that you're probably a visionary, that you're probably able to look at, a vision for your life, a vision for the world, a vision for how things will play out, and see how things can unfold. Well, unfortunately, that's not a skill that everybody has. That there are some people who, for them, that they would rather the safety, and again, there's zero judgment. God bless them. I wish that I was one of those people who could just be like, okay, they could just go somewhere and be there for 8 hours and go home and get a paycheck, and it could be all good, and they don't have to think out of the box of, a strategy for marketing their business, for service, for whatever, that they could then be able to help somebody else's dreams come true. Because that's what you're doing. If you work for, GM, GE, whoever GE still exists, CBS, I think it is now, or whatever. You're helping Mr. CBS and Mr. GM's business, thrive. Which again, that is wonderful. That's amazing. But then you probably, if that is you, then you're going to probably have a issue trying to understand when your BFF Tia comes and says, yeah, and I'm going to coach women about the goddesses and blah blah blah, you're probably gonna be like, what? So so the wonderful thing is that for each of us, Guyana, we say for every moldy bread has this boom boom cheese, and that means there's people for everybody. And so Tia and I are the same tribe. You and I, viewer, are probably the same tribe. And some people are, maybe you're going out to the club friends, or you're hang out on the beach friends, or whatever, may not necessarily be your buddies that you sit around and talk business talk to. And you just have to just know who you're dealing with and for what reason. That for me, I know I'm passionate about my business. Like, I have to, like, somebody asked me the other day what my hobbies were. And I had to really think, because my hobby, same as my profession, like, this is what I enjoy doing all day, every day. Like, I have to stop myself so that I won't be a workaholic.
Yes, that's it.
And so you get with other people that are passionate about their life's work, and you can really, vibe on that and make each other greater. And so you want to just surround yourself, meetup.com is a great place, or the people that you meet, on social media, maybe who live nearby you, who are on topic and on trend with what you're talking about. And that will be your new tribe. Not to say that you don't still love your family members or whoever you were hanging out with before, but you trying to, like, basically beat a dead horse and try to convince people of your vision. It's better to live your vision, and then those same people will say, wow, how'd you do that? Tell me how to do that. It's better, like, Missouri, the show me state. Just show them. Just live your life. Show them. And, and that's the best way to do it.
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. So true. And just as you were saying, it's easy to also outgrow certain communities, people, see that a lot. And I actually talk a lot about that too in the upcoming workshop. So I'm very excited to talk more about that issue in particular, because I know all about outgrowing certain people and situations. So yeah, again, that will also take you out the comfort zone, but you'll get used to it.
You'll get used to it. And that's the thing that it's about. And I'm actually going to be doing an online course next year about getting out of your comfort zone, because I think it's such an important piece that people feel like they have to wait until they feel comfortable with something to start. But no, you got to start within the discomfort. If you wait until you're comfortable, one of the points that we didn't make here, but it's about that comfort zone thing, is perfectionism. That look like, okay, well, I need it to be perfect. Well, you know what? You can be refining your website for the next 5 years. You'll be trying to make a brochure for the next, year. You have to just jump in, and as one of my coaches, mentors says, build the plane while you're flying it. Because the people that you're in service to are also going to inform what you're doing moving forward. You could have in your mind, what you want to offer the world, but if that's not what the world needs, it's not going to work. Like Tia was saying, when she first offered, what she thought was wonderful, and I think is wonderful, and it just was not resonating until she was really able to come from the heart with something else that people were resonating with, and she had a different result.
Definitely. And it also doesn't mean that you can't come back to that idea at a later date, which is also interesting. So yeah, definitely. I am very excited to talk more about that topic. Oh yeah.
Nice. All right, I'm going to just check briefly and make sure that no one has left any questions on our Google Plus page.
Okay.
While you continue.
All right. So just to go a little further as I pull up this PowerPoint here.
And for the people who are watching live, what time will that be posted tomorrow, Friday, 10/24/2014?
It will be posted by noon, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. And we'll post it on both of our websites. My website is either abiolatv.com, where the TV stands for Transformation and Victory, or sacredbombshell.com. And give them your website, Tia.
Yes, it is violetsanctuaryspa.com. So you'll be able to get my version there, which will be the same as Abiola's, but you can get it there.
Yeah. Okay, so I know there were some bonus points.
Yes, and that was the last one we covered with the bonus. The lack of coaching, mentorship, and the receiving of that bad advice, the lack of our belief support system, and being in the wrong network community, having to outgrow certain communities and situations.
What do you find is that you hear that people come up to you with? Because I'm sure that people approach you who want to start either a similar business or, you know, maybe are scared or like you were saying about the comfort zone and that sort of thing. What do you see as like one of the biggest issues that people tend to have that they come to that they approach you with?
One of the biggest issues is the process of getting from point A, and it doesn't even have to be to Z, just to say E alone. The process really terrifies people because they know that there is money, time, energy, a lot of things involved. So it's definitely the process. A lot of people want to get to that end point, but the step by step, play by play really terrifies a lot of people.
I think that's true. Yeah, the process does terrify people. I feel like you said, that they may look at like they look at you and they think, okay, well, this is the finished version, right? They look at your website, they see, you know, T is the owner of Violet Sanctuary Spa. Like they see the gloss and they want the glory part of it, but the process part of it, you know, is what intimidates them from really like leaning in and doing it. And so then that goes back to what you were saying about like really getting an education in it. And I would say also breaking it down to the sum of its parts. Break it down to itty bitty parts. And you don't have to do every part of it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time if you get information on, you know, how certain things are done. Like right now with this hangout, we didn't have to invent how to do a hangout. It's been done before. So let's just see how people have done it. What do I have to click on? How do I have to make it happen? So I know, for example, with like, say, with our books, you know, designing the book cover or whatever it is. Like, I feel like any way that you can be able to outsource or partner with somebody else, things that you can delegate, which I know is really hard for
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yes.
That delegation piece. But it's really important because while you are working on, you know, whatever piece of the puzzle is, you can't really be moving your business forward. So
Hmm.
I feel like that's a big one. One of the things that I feel like people talk to me about in terms of coaching clients and, you know, people that I encounter is that I feel like people really kind of get stuck in that, you know, like you were talking about having the grief business, and, you know, they get stuck in whatever it is that they have and kind of insist on whatever, even if it's not working, in a go down with the ship kind of way, rather
Yeah.
than looking and seeing what the market wants. That, you know, it's not only about whatever it is that you're putting into the world. If you are a flower designer and you live on a garden full of free flowers in an open field, you know, you've
Hmm.
got to figure out a way to, why should people come to you? That I
Right.
would tell, you know, entrepreneurs that the question that they have to ask themselves, you know, whether you are writing a book, whether you are starting a flower shop, whether you're starting an angel card business, whatever it is, you know, okay, well, why you? Why should people come to you? What is it
Yeah.
that you offer that's different than all of the other people? Why now? Like, why should they come to you right now rather than, you know, tomorrow, a year from now? What's the urgency in it? You know, why you? Why now? And what is it that you have to offer them? What is the service? Not on a basic level, like, oh, I sell flowers, or oh, I'm an angel card dealer, or whatever it is, but
Hmm.
really, what in terms of like specialty, what is it that you really bring to the table? And then that is the way that people are going to respond. If you have been working at something and it's not working, then figure out a different approach. Ask people.
Yeah.
You know, go to
Yeah.
your Facebook page, your community, go to a forum, whatever it is, and say, you know, I am thinking about, I wrote this book on such and such. If I was going to write another one, what are topics that you would want to see? Or,
Yes.
you know, I am a business coach. What are the topics that you would need coaching on? And then that way you can create your business to be directly responsive to what it is that people need, rather
Yes.
than, you know, beating a dead horse and insisting on what it is.
Yes. And I almost did that when I wanted to write a book about angels. I mean, lots of people have written books about goddesses, but I haven't seen books that take that goddess energy, help people understand who the goddess is, and then apply that to their daily life, and then tell people, hey, we can all be goddesses in a particular realm, and you'll be on this line, I'll be on this line, and we won't ever have to be negative towards each other. I haven't seen a book like that. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I did that. But yeah, I almost went defaulted with the
Right.
angels, and you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah, and it's not that you won't ever do that, that you may come back and then write the book about the angels or then write the book about the grief or whatever it is. But just at this point, in order for it to be your launching pad that speaks specifically to you, that you then addressed, what needed to be, like what was really, really specific to you. So you answered why you, why now, why at this time, and what is the message? You answered all of those questions. I had the same experience in writing the Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, that because I am a love advice columnist for Essence, and I started out actually as a love and relationship, love dating coach, and had a show around relationships, like that was my realm.
Mm-hmm.
That was where first, I was thinking, okay, well, I have to write the book around that. But then I was really feeling called to go back to my roots and write on just self-love and empowerment. And so I'm really glad that I did that, and I will in the future write a book that is more aimed at relationships, that may be a compilation of my columns or something like that. But rather than going, and that would have been very easy for me, this way was much more challenging, but I feel like this was a better launch pad for the next phase of my business. And the book is actually now, nominated for Best Self-Help and African American Literary Awards, along with Ian Levanzant and T.D. Jakes, and that wouldn't have happened if I would have just gone ahead and just written the love book that I knew to write. So,
Exactly. And your book is just so unique because when I see handbook, I'm thinking, oh, you know what? This isn't like a textbook. This is something that's I can read it, I can apply it. It's all about love. How can I deny it? It's just like a lot of goodness when you see it. So yeah, it's just that powerful energy there, and I think it's great.
yay, thank you, Tia. Thank you. I feel like, yeah, this is a very exciting time. And one of the things that I know that you're going to be doing, and we're really going to be working with in this workshop, in the in-person workshop, is really in terms of blocking blessings, belief systems. Belief systems that people have in play, beliefs that don't serve you anymore, the I'm not enough, I'm not good enough belief, because maybe in third grade, whatever happened, and you're still perpetuating that belief. We're going to be able
Yes.
to work with people, on the core sense, in terms of energy. We're going to really be able to do some spiritual energy shifting around your blessings. And so that is for the workshop on November 2nd at the University of Pennsylvania, which has arguably the best business school in the country. So it's exciting to be able to do a workshop there for me. So, we're going to be doing that on Sunday, November 2nd from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The page will go live tomorrow if you're watching this live. If you are watching this at any other time, the page will go live on October 24th, 2014, where people can sign up for that. They'll also get the PowerPoint from this conversation. And we have one more free workshop that's going to be next week, right before, where we're going to talk about what we wish we would have known before we started our business. Don't make these
Oh
mistakes.
yes. Oh yes. Ooh, I really can't wait to talk about that one. I could go all day with that.
And Tia, what do you, and we want to give them a discount. The workshop is
Yes.
$100 at UPenn. We want to give them a discount for the next 24 hours if they sign up. So how do they sign up, and what is the discount for them to join us in person?
Yes, so the discount $75 for those who sign up, early bird special for watching our Google Hangout here and learning all this great information. They can reserve their tickets or register at our websites. I will give the link in a little bit so you can post it on your site, Abiola, and I'll have it on mine. It's through PayPal, and you'll be all set.
Actually, if you can also drop us an email tonight immediately so that you can lock in that $75 rate because it's going to be 24 hours and then that's it unless we decide to get the next workshop. We'll figure that out. But for now,
Yes.
that's it, $75 and it's well worth it at $100. It's more than worth it if you come to, and want to pay full price. That's fine. But if you want to lock in this fast action early bird scholarship rate, $75. What's the email address, Tia?
Yes, it is Sacred Bombshell Bootcamp at gmail.com.
Sacred Bombshell Bootcamp at gmail.com.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and the next workshop that we
I'm sorry, excuse me. It's Sacred Business Bootcamp. Sorry, Sacred
delete
Business
that.
Bootcamp.
Delete. Sacred Business Bootcamp at Gmail.
Yes.
Okay, Sacred Business Bootcamp at gmail.com. And then on Tuesday the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday the 28th of October 2014, we are going to be talking about what we wish we would have known before we started our heart-centered businesses. And so you definitely want to join us for that. And hopefully we will see you in person on Sunday, November 2nd in Philadelphia. Check right now. If you want to drop us an email, lock in that $75 early bird rate. It's well worth it at the full fee of $100. Like we talked about, invest in yourself, invest in your business. Don't go into 2015 with the same energy from 2014. Want something different? You got to do something different.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
And we will have a PowerPoint packet for you tomorrow on our sites. You can find me at sacredbombshell.com or abiolatv.com throughout the social media universe, where TV stands for Transformation and Victory. Tell them where to find you again, Tia.
All right. I am at violetsanctuaryspa.com.
Yay! All right, y'all. If no one has told you today, I love you. Dream bigger, love yourself, and stop blocking your blessings. Bye.
Bye-bye.